Good day. Welcome to another fantastic edition of your favorite sport program on TV360 Sport. It's been an amazing weekend for a lot of sport viewers across the globe. It's not worthy to let you know that the games between Nigeria and Sierra Leone will be taking place this Friday. But the fact still remains that they will not be entranced for sport spectators, football lovers, and also journalists. This is as a result of the CAF instruction given to all the AFCON qualifiers because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, this is just part of what is making headlines this week. But for the past 2 weeks, it has been about the 60 sporting icons for the celebration of the 60th independence anniversary for our country in Nigeria. Ever since the inauguration took place in Abuja, criticism has trailed from all sectors about the names on the list. I have a very reputable sport journalist, Tunde Eludini, that will give us his opinion and a general perspective about the name on the list. Some said some names should be included, some names shouldn't be on the list. Good day, Tunde Eludini.
Yeah, good day, Muda Shiro.
It's good to have you with us here from Lagos.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me once more.
Let's look at it. It's good that honor was given to the sporting icons that have made the nation great in terms of sport. And we know Nigerians have about over 60 sports and like almost 50 sporting federations. Tell us your perspective about this step the sport ministry has taken to honor the names of these sporting icons.
Well, for me, it is a commendable move by the minister. Ministers have come. I'm sure we had a time when we celebrated our 20th anniversary. We had our 30th anniversary, 40th, 50th, and now 60th. None of the past ministers, if I'm correct, I thought it wise to have such honor bestowed on sports people. Yeah, so the thinking was right. 60, as Nigeria was clocking 60, to honor those sporting legends that have helped Nigeria put the name on the map. Yes, the intention was really, really commendable. However, it is one thing to nurse an idea. It is another for the idea to be properly executed. I think the minister did well in having this idea, but for me, I think the execution leaves much to be desired. The good intention, in a way, has been tainted because between you and I, that list for me is not the best that we can offer as a country. That said, you have to cut the minister a slack also, because if you look at Nigeria, the country that we are, and you look at our sporting history in the past 60 years, you can tell me that you will be able to count 100 people and more than 100 people worthy of celebrating at this point in time. So it is always going to come to a point that you feel somebody ought to be on this list and the person is not on the list. But that said, there are some I'll call them unforgivable omissions that are on this that didn't make it to this list, and some that you will question their inclusion. So the list, the intention, like we started out, is very great. It's very laudable. Yeah, the minister is thinking in the right direction to celebrate our sporting heroes. But like I said, the execution could have been better.
Okay, let's not look at in terms of the sporting sectors. We have more footballers on the list, and some say that so much of footballers are on the list than other sports, because we know we have so much sport in the country and they've done us so well. Do you think it's unfair for that sport, knowing that on the list has more footballers and more unnecessary names, as some stakeholders say, are on the list? So let's look at that.
There's no how you would draw a list of sporting heroes and footballers will not dominate. You're just going to be, how I say it, there's hardly how you can argue it out. Yes, we have other sports, but you cannot expect that you will have maybe 10 sports people across. Footballers will always dominate. It's now asking the question of who and who is meant to be on this list. But for me, I have no problem in if you look at, yes, we've had successes across sports, and so well athletes across other sports were also captured in this. But I think the argument should not be whether footballers, when you say dominate, if you have a 60-man list and you have 10 footballers on the list, you can be sure that with the sporting achievement we've had in the past 60 years, you will call that domination. So I don't think we should be entangled ourselves about talking about whether footballers are too much. Those footballers in the list, do they deserve to be in the list? Talking about qualifying for the World Cup, talking about winning African Cup of Nations, these are things that more Nigerians identify with. That is not to in any way ridicule other achievements. The achievement we had in Paralympics, the achievement we had wrestling at the table. But I don't think we should be looking at it that it is dominated by footballers. If the footballers should be there, why not? They should be there.
Okay, well said. Before we come on this break, let me look at the notable names that were missing. We have names like Amadou Shuaibu. We know what he has done for Nigerian football. And a certain Obeifo Balofin. She is the first African and Commonwealth woman to have won an Olympic silver medal in weightlifting. She's the first African Commonwealth woman to have won an Olympic silver medal in weightlifting. That means in the cycles of the Commonwealth, she is the first woman to have won a medal. We look at Amadou Shuaibu. We look at Kadri Kana, who gave Nigeria Eyimba the first African Cup winner, in 1980 African Cup winner, who led Eyimba to win the first Nigerian first CAF Champions League title. And what can you say about that?
Yeah, I think it boils down to the execution that I was talking about. Like the roots of effort that you talk about, how many Nigerians know about that? Yes, she has done very great. I think the best approach that will have been adopted for this is those that know, those that have this information, let them be the ones to collate, say maybe 100 names, 200 names of people that have done so well in their various sports. The approach that was used for this particular 60 was just that you should just send in names that you think that deserve it. Okay, imagine if you want to do an award for the best footballer in Nigeria in the past 60 years, and you vote the most. They are the ones that knows how to send the emails. They are the ones that knows how to send the Twitter. And how many of them know the exploit of Shegun Odebami when he was playing? How many of them know the exploit of Christian Chukwu when he was playing? All of them will just be voting Okocha, voting for Kanu. And if you now say because they are the ones that have the highest votes, they are the ones you are picking, that means you have not done justice. That talks about the style that was approached, that was used in this picking of these 60 heroes. For me, I think the better approach would have been to bring, the ministry has better information, the journalists have better information. Let them draw up a list of, say, maybe 200 people highlighting their achievements for Nigeria. Then from that pool, people can now make their own votes. Even at that, look, for example, when you look at some journalism award or some other awards like that, there is a percentage for voting, while the panel has a bigger influence on whoever emerges, emerges top. So in that way, informed choices are made. If you just leave it for the fact, because the defense the ministry has now is that it wasn't them picking, it was the people that were picking. But how much of information do the people who are root, for example, even if you have some journalists, they might not know the expert of routes, how much more the ordinary man on the street. So I think the approach from the foundation, there was this issue. So going forward, if we want to have something like this, I think the best approach is to have a larger pool of people, every deserving people at that, and let people now make votes from the pool, not every random person just picking based on what they know. The youth of today, most of this generation don't know the things that happened in the past, like the first Nigerian to win a medal at the Olympics and all that. They don't have such information at their fingertips. So you won't blame them when they are making their choices. They go with what they know. They go with what they've seen. And so I think that's where the ministry got it wrong in the approach they used, even in selecting those that they feel should be in the 60-man list.
Okay, some think it's more of you cannot satisfy, even if the 60 names are expected to be on the list, it's still not enough. Do you think the figure 60 is the reason why there is so much confusion? It would have been 100 sports icons, even if you are celebrating the 60 years.
Well, even if you are picking 100, you can be sure that people will still be dissatisfied. It's a general feeling. You can rarely satisfy people. But even at that, what I keep saying is that from this list, there are unpardonable omissions. They are pardonable because if, for example, you say you are picking, Stephen Keshi is on this list. Yes, he played for Nigeria. He qualified. He won the Nations Cup for Nigeria. Yeah, exactly. So, if on those parameters that you have used to pick him, so what makes Amadou not qualified to be on the list? So, if you have, once you look at the people on this list, then you look, for example, the inclusion of Kessington Adebutu and the Baba Ijebu.
Yeah.
Dangote. If you look presently, the biggest thing you can point to for these two is that they've offered to resuscitate the two stadiums in Abuja and Lagos. Yeah, but how do you now explain the exclusion of somebody like Molade Okoye-Otamas, someone that has single-handedly run the biggest table tennis events in Nigeria for more than 3 decades? If you are bringing in, once you can bring in a Dangote, once you can bring in a Kessington Adebutu, then there is no justification to say Molade should not be on this. But it is not child's play that the Lagos State government deemed it fit to name the indoor sports hall after him, because everybody is aware of his contributions to the growth of table tennis. Table tennis is not like football that enjoys patronage. But for someone to single-handedly push Nigeria onto you can start counting the superstars that have been made off from. So if you can bring those ones in, why can't he be in? So, like I said, if you are drawing up a list of 100, people will not still be satisfied. They will still tell you what this person has to be there, this person has. But once you bring in certain individuals, then you don't have excuse not to bring in some. So look like, for example, Mikel. In this case, we have Daniel Amokachi, we have Garba Lawa. How would we explain Garba Lawa being ahead of Mikel when it comes to football or not? Yes, Garba Lawa was very dedicated when he was playing for the Super Eagles. You cannot fault his discipline. But if you think he merits to be on this list, then there is no, I don't know what yardsticks you will now make Mikel not qualify. Because look at the Olympics in Rio. We all saw what He had to even spend his money. Nigeria was almost embarrassed. We almost missed our first game from the airport straight to all those. So if someone has done that much also, how do you now explain that he's not on the list and someone like Garba Lawal is on the list? So the list leaves room for criticism. Like I said, it's a good innovation, a step in the right direction, but the execution for me can be better.
Okay, interesting. We'll take you straight to Abuja, when the event took place at the Abuja National Stadium, and we had the sport minister being interviewed by journalists as regards to this. Tunde Eludini, we will be coming back, but let's take on this quick break, and we'll be giving you and filing more questions from our viewers.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
We asked for nominations on various platforms. We partnered with several media organizations, including SWAN. People voted. Over 3,400 nominations were made. A committee was set up that had people from diverse backgrounds who are knowledgeable about sport, and they did the painstaking task of selecting 60 out of 3,400. You know, you agree with me that must have been a tough job they did, and they did their work independently. I let them do their work independently. The truth is that it was not until this morning, a few hours to the event, that I actually became privy to the list of those that made the list. I didn't really bother because we had trusted them to do a good job, and I think they did a good job. First, we needed to keep their names classified. We didn't want to unveil them before the unveiling proper. If not, it defeats the essence. The few that you saw here, we just decided let's bring 6 of them to represent the 60 collective. That's why we wanted to keep the surprise element of that list, because if you announce it to them and all of them are here, then there's no surprise element. Some are just knowing about it. Some will find out in the media. That's one. 2, there was also a budget consideration. To bring 60 people here, we didn't have that kind of budget. But we felt the ceremony itself, the plaque we have produced, what we have put up here, the recognition by Mr. President and Nigerians was critically very important. These plaques we get to them will be delivered by our staff at the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Some will come and receive them in my office at the ministry, and I think that is what's important. Apart from the criteria, it was also a function of the nominations that came in, because they were scored. If you had just 50 people nominate you and 100 people nominate the other person in the same category, who gets it? The person that has the 100. It was done independently. If the ministry sat down to do it, it would have been different. But we said, let sport lovers do it. So I think the numbers, the votes they scored, it's just like an election. You might be the best candidate, but if the votes do not tally in your favor, you won't get the INEC certificate. So we left this to Nigerian sport lovers to do it, and they went with the votes that came in.
Yeah, welcome back. That's the sport minister after the rewarding of excellence of the sporting icons that took place at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. We still have Tunde with us here. Let's now look finally, before we round up for the program. Some insisted, and also includes you from what you said earlier, that rather than it be a nomination or a voting process, that it could rather be a panel of experts in sport. Explain that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they should not be voting at all.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that there be a collation. Like, for example, you mentioned Ruth Obanifo, and I asked the question that how many
Nigerians
know about our exploits. But if you have that captured, you have a list of 200, maybe like they have a website, for example, where you have, after excessive research, you back and forth, you come up with 300 names of sports people and what they've done. You have it on your website. I think they have a website already. Yeah. And you have those sports people put there. Now, it's not left for you to now, people can go there, they get to even know these people better. It is after you've seen what they've done. Like, for example, now, if you feel Mikel winning a bronze medal, helping Nigeria to win a bronze, that was the only medal we won in Rio. We should have that at the back of it. If you feel it is not as important as a Paralympic, someone that is physically challenged, breaking a world record, that might be your thinking. I say, okay, because this guy is physically challenged and was able to even break a world record for Nigeria, I think he deserves my vote more than Mikel, and you vote for him. That I think is a better way, because if you just leave it open for people to just speak, how many of them you just even, there is a particular media award that I don't want to mention, but when you call for nomination, because people are used to the Lagos station, those are the only people you see every other year. That doesn't mean that there are not journalists that are doing fantastic things in the north, in the east, but it is what you know that you would vote for. So you won't. But if for any reason there is something short, maybe like a short citation about everybody the ministry feels is deserving, like a 300 poll, then you have, based on the voting of people, okay, at the long run, these are the people with the highest votes. Or even you can even be making it in stages. Maybe the first stage you drop the last 50. We are left with 250. It might look cumbersome, but in that way you are able to capture the best. But mind you, even at that, not everybody will be satisfied.
Okay. Lastly, let me ask you this: what should be the remedy for those omitted from this list? Do you think there should be another award for them to be honored? They should be now given an opportunity to be included. What's the remedy for this?
Well, if I get the minister well, this is not a one-off, and I'm sure the minister is thinking in the line that, of course, there will be people that will not be captured in this. I think honoring our sports people should not be a once in a lifetime. It's something that they deserve every other time. We can't, apart from, if you look at what sports has done to Nigeria as a country, both locally and on, there's nothing that is too much to give back in return. So if it doesn't cost a ham and a leg from what I know, I don't think there's any monetary reward that has been attached to this reward, to these awards. It's just basically recognition. And I don't think it will, if the minister says he wants to recognize 1,000 people for doing well in sport today, I don't think anybody will hold him down. So I think either ways, it might not be called 60s, whatever, but in appreciation for what you have done for sport, this is an award from the Ministry of Sport. Have this. I don't think it's too much. And this should be a continuous exercise, and it even gives the sports people some level of belonging. If you look at how these people react to to little awards that are given, little in quotes, any form of appreciation is always taken in good light. So the remedy, as they ask for, is to keep recognizing these sports people and treat them well. Treat them well. Once you treat them well, particularly for the ones coming behind. Look, you can imagine if somebody went to the Olympics, done this, did that, and the country doesn't recognize him. It doesn't send a good signal to those coming behind that, please don't go all the way that you're sacrificing for the country. But once you can make this something periodic and you keep showing appreciation to people that are due, I think everybody will take a cue from there and know that Nigeria is worth all the sacrifice. Thank you very much, Tunde Eludini, for your honest opinion on this topic. Hope next time we have you with us talking more about sports. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. It's our pleasure, yeah. Yes, we're still live in the city of Lagos, TV360. Right now we have 360 Sport. It's obvious that even if there's going to be 100 lists on that, a lot of people will still criticize the names on the list. But like Tunde had rightly said, that it should be more periodical rather than doing it once in decades. And this is all we could take on today's program. We want to say a big thank you for those that have made this possible. And not forgetting that you should keep with the COVID-19 protocol, wash your hands, and put on your face masks. Like I do say at the end of every program, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.